Cody, thank you for your question. Dave has worked with people from all sorts of backgrounds and sports in his career, giving his knowledge of various sports now. Given his own body at 16 years old, what sport would he jump into that is not powerlifting?
Wrestling, what I was
wrestling.
Doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes you say is that because you enjoy it, or you think you have like a predisposition to be good at it genetically?
Well, I was good at it, and I did enjoy it, and I wish I would have continued it further than what I did.
Sure.
Because for me, all the accountability was on me. If I lost, it was because of me. So if I didn't have the skills, it was because of me. It's probably why I kind of drifted into powerlifting as opposed to more team type of sports, but that's where I would go.
What ultimately made you stop with it?
Body weight.
Okay.
Because where I was for the weight class, the next weight class up was going to be super heavyweight. I also played football. I was a down lineman, and I was powerlifting at the same time. So the weight cut would have, this is multifaceted. So this was the big piece of it, right? Because if I could go back and do it all over again, I would. I would go down and I would cut weight and I would have stayed with that, because ultimately I was a better wrestler than I was football player and enjoyed it more so. But there was other people in my life that wanted me to play football because they were right, because they thought and knew that I needed to learn team skills, right? Because I wasn't very good in that regard, in the individual skills. So I'm blessed that they pushed me that way, because that ultimately helped me more in life later on than had that not been there. So multifaceted, but I hated those people at the time.
Yeah.
And actually for probably decades after this, to be completely honest, because it wasn't what I wanted to do until I realized later they had a point. But it's not cool when everybody's kind of like ganging up on you, telling you to do what you don't want to do.
Oh, of course.
And then you actually do it.
Was there like an epiphany type moment where you realized that had happened, as in those team skills that you were forced into actually had paid some real dividends for you? Like you said, you hated them for a long time, implying that you don't anymore. So was there a point where you're like, oh, I'm actually now looking back glad I did this because I've achieved X, Y, and Z because of those skills?
Therapy.
Okay.
And going through therapy and kind of realizing that I don't know if those skills would have been acquired, because they're still not great by any means. I just don't know if I care enough to try to make them better. Sure. But they're just, I can't imagine what they would have been like without. Sure. I wouldn't have this company. That's for damn sure. So yeah.
Good answer.
To add on to the wrestling part, if you had to pick wrestling, would you go with the same wrestling that you did, or given the different varieties available now, that probably more lenient on the weights, on the weight categories too, because you got sumo wrestling now that's become more popular, Mongolian wrestling?
Oh, it still would have been like freestyle or Greco-Roman, one of those two. And they changed the weight thing 5 years or so after, because for me it was low. It was like 165 or 181, and then supers. And the problem with the supers is, and there were supers that were on the team, I did not like wrestling them. It was different. It was a different game, where with the lighter people, it's more skill. I mean, the bigger one, it's like, fuck, it's different.
Strength and endurance straight.
Yeah. And it was just gross and fucking sweaty and just disgusting. It wasn't the same thing.
You don't want to get stuck in a big guy's armpit?
No. And so in one way, it helped my powerlifting, because ultimately that's what I ended up loving more than anything else. So that would have kept my weight down, where that with that, it's like, fuck it, I could just be 220, and not have to worry about it. And we're talking 10th grade or whatever at the time. So, and 2 lifts I'll go up to, because obviously you're heavier. Yeah. So it's like, cool, this is great. I'll get big as fuck, or as big as I can, and kind of went that route. Then powerlifting became the #1 thing, and football was just the thing I did in off season of the powerlifting.
Sure. From Bradford, this is a funny one, so I'm glad I'm reading this one out. If Dave had to get 1 piercing and 1 tattoo to match Tom's, which would he get?
I've never paid that.
Do you want
attention to which
model?
Do you
want a model for us so you can pick one?
Bradford's assuming that he knows all of them for a start. Yeah. Dangerous assumption.
The piercings, no.
You gotta pick one. It says right here.
I know, but it says tattoos or piercings.
No,
right?
So if he had to get 1 piercing and 1 tattoo to match, well, there's an and.
Probably the eye for the piercing, and then the tattoo. I haven't paid enough attention to know what the hell your tattoos even are.
Are we only talking about the covered ones, or or, you know, uncommon
Yeah.
ones.
This is where Dave could give out some explicit knowledge in it.
Yeah. I'm trying to look here. It's I can't even see what half of those.
There's a whole chest piece. You got a lot to pick from. Whole back's done.
He even has a Trump stamp.
Yeah.
Whatever's on the knuckles, I would say.
On the knuckles.
Yeah.
You go straight for the hand.
Yeah, straight for the hand.
Brave. Hand tattoos are fun, especially when you get them done 4 times like I had to. Good question. Next up, what is your favorite routine / boring meal that you frequently do or consume?
How can that be favorite? Yeah, they're contradictory.
I get it, but it's there. Something came to mind when I asked it.
Well, every morning for the past 2 years, except for Sunday, it's 3 packs of oatmeal, scoop of protein, 10 grams of creatine, half a chocolate element pack, either almonds, or if I run out of almonds, a tablespoon of peanut butter, and that's breakfast. It's about 50 grams of protein and whatever the fats are.
I like that chocolate element addition.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Every morning. Well, it's not really the morning because I don't eat my first meal till later, but that's the first meal. Meal 1. So I would go that. It's easy. It's palatable. You know, it never tastes gross. It never tastes great. But
I assume it's pretty minimal effort.
it's 0 effort. That's why it's there.
It's all in packets.
Yeah.
You should just make one big packet of all of this mixed in.
Job done. Have you gotten to doing it in batches yet?
Like prepping it?
Yeah, you could just tupple.
No, because it took a long time to figure out it's exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I knew there'd be something like this.
And trying to figure the water out.
Yeah.
It's got to be, there's a certain consistency. And if you screw it up, it all blows up. Your whole microwave's a mess. So you can't go too long on the time. So there's no way that I could think of to like mass prep this. Because I'd have to learn like all the timing for the bigger, No, just perfect in the.
You've got it down to a fine art, and you don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, if you had to add back into your training reverse hypers or deadlifts, which would you pick and why? Death is not an option.
Reverse hypers, because I can get them over faster.
You can do ballistic reverse hypers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have to warm up to anything.
No, that's true. That's a good show.
So if it's whatever the work sets are, it's done within like 5 minutes. You know, deadlifts are going to have to like, it's the whole thing. You got to get prepped to it. I'd have to get warmed up to deadlift and then have to do the deadlift and then do the warm ups for the deadlift. It's just a whole thing. It's too long. It's too much misery. So if I'm going to have the misery, I'm
staring me down.
Yeah. I mean, also you could probably, it's much easier to make an argument the reverse hypers probably wouldn't negatively affect your squatting.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking, which can I get?
Whereas now, if you got a deadlift a lot, you're like, oh, now I can't. Not only does this suck, the thing that I actually like is suffering.
Yeah, that's the problem. I didn't think about that, but that would be a problem. So that just helps to validate my decision.
Perfect.
So we've got a 2-parter question here, unrelated.
Jay.
From Jay. Yep. Have you plugged your CPAP into the battery backup yet?
No.
Have you considered it? Probably a good idea.
Oh, man. Some context. I'll lay out some context. I don't know how long ago this was, but there was a power outage and CPAP died and I had to go. I have the battery backups right next to my bed. It's right there. But so power goes out. I got to wake up in the middle of the night, plug it into the stupid thing. I'm all pissed out. I've ranted about it somewhere, somehow. And I think I said at the time I'm going to make a note.
Make a note.
Because it's right.
Thanks, Jay. He's making a note.
Yeah. Plug it.
So what happens when it dies and you're wearing it? Like, is it like, I see in my head, it's like someone come and turn your tank off on your scuba.
It's not bad for me now. Okay. When I was larger,
I
started like...
Yeah, I've woken up wondering why I'm being choked and I'm looking over and Lily's still sleeping. I'm like, okay, who's choking me?
Yeah. And when you wake up in the middle of the night with that thing, it's on full blast too. It's not like, because it slowly dials up as you're going to sleep.
Sure. Okay.
So it's just like this nice little, you wake up in the middle of the night, like, it's like blowing like that fan cranked all the way up. It's like,
except in the holes down your throat.
Yeah.
But it's not now. If it's that was, when I'm trying to think when that happened. When that happened, I don't think I was like gasping or whatever. When I woke up, it was just like, oh shit, I probably need to make sure that I plug this in so I don't die.
It's a solid argument.
Yeah.
And I assume it's a case of just like taking and putting it in the pocket.
It's literally my nightstand right by my bed. I put the power strip on the nightstand because so I don't have to bend over to like plug it in.
Of course.
It's
He's done
literally
all the prep work.
it's literally 18 inches away.
May as
All I
well
have
be
to do
10
is
miles.
unplug it out of one and plug it into the other one. And what's so screwed up about this, like I'm embarrassed, is if I travel, I take it with me. Right. Then when I come back, I plug it into the same one on top instead. So it's not like I haven't had the opportunity where it's been unplugged many times.
Yep.
Actually, just last week, because it's so hot and our air conditioning's dead, we're sleeping downstairs in my kids' room that's in the Navy. So I had to unplug it to take it downstairs to plug it in and then take it back upstairs to plug it right back into the wrong outlet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a sudden special something.
Yeah, that shows you that I need to.
Man of routine.
Because I have to make notes of shit because Tracy's out on my phone. I have notes to clean the cat box today, empty the dishwasher, change the laundry. Because if I don't put it in there, I won't do it.
No, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So adding on to that, have you considered getting a separate CPAP just for traveling? Because my biggest gripe with travel is having to set up that CPAP every single time we arrive at a new place. It's like, it's the first thing I start doing. Like we walk into the hotel room. All right, let me plug this fucking thing in again.
I did for a while because at one point something went wrong with mine. I had to get an upgrade. Right. So they fixed the other one kind of. And then I used that as a travel one. And then I traveled and it didn't work. Right. So here's why that won't work for me. Because I would have to test it before I left to make sure that it would still work. Right. Because in my brain, I know it works if I'm using it every single day. So even if it's a brand new one in the box, I have no assurances that that's going to work.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Valid.
But I should do that too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I mean, if plugging it into the battery backup is too much effort, I would presume setting up a second one is too much effort.
Big time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like let's go small victories. Maybe the next time we'll reconvene, you'll have it plugged into the battery backup, and then we can work on next steps from there.
Yes.
So the second question from Jay, when will S5 get a Moby?
Get away.
One of Chris Facio's implements.
A Moby. What's a Moby? Oh, that big ass dildo thing?
Yeah.
Probably never.
Never?
No.
You don't see the value of it in training?
No. I'd rather invest the money in something else.
Okay. What if it was sponsored?
Oh yeah, of course.
If it had tabletop printed,
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
How far up the tabletop can you take it? So now we have a question from Grade 3 Strain. If you could start powerlifting all over again with a fresh body and you were deciding whether to get into competing raw or equipped, what bencher would you get?
What kind of fucking stupid question is that?
because he knows you'd pick equipped.
I wouldn't. I would go, if it's in today's world, I would go raw.
Ooh, controversial.
I've said this many times because there's more competitors. Right? I want to know where I'm going to rank. You know, I don't know where I'm going to rank in a smaller number. Keep in mind, the questions posed is if I was to get into it today, like a new lifter coming in, right? So I don't have a bias. I don't have all this background and all this other history. I just want to compete and know where I kind of stand against everybody else. I'm going to want to do that in the largest pool I possibly can. So I know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just the same thing I did when I competed. You know, I went into the US, the USPF. It was the largest pool, right? Then there was a split between ADFPA here, basically drug tested, non-drug tested. Yeah. So then I went to whatever the biggest drug test or biggest non-drug tested was and went there because that's where everybody was at.
So you care more about beating more people than putting up a bigger number?
No, I care more about where I'm going to rank amongst all those people to have an idea where I'm at, right? Because it's still going to be based upon I can only control what I can control.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of always known that, but it's kind of cool to know where you are amongst everybody else. And when say Matt Smith was talking about that top 100, when you look in the top 100 and you know where you are, in that top 100, then each year you just want to move up that. Sure, there's names on there and you're beating people, but it's really just, are you moving up in those ranks? I want to be able to be in a ranking that can show that. I don't want to be in a ranking that's got 10 fucking people in it or 15 people in it. I don't care if they're all great or all world record holders or they all suck. I want to be able to see, there's progress externally and internally.
So a big enough pool to justify the position that you're in the pool.
Yeah. And I don't know why people find that so weird that I would say something like that, because yes, it's the equipped is, I love it, right? It's great. I'm still used to shit myself, but this is a different thing. This is how are you going to track your progress internally and externally?
Interesting.
That's how I would do it.
So for you and your perception then, even if we've got this group over here that, by whatever standard are all elite, but let's say this group is like 20 or 30 people. This group over here is like hundreds or thousands with a whole mixed bag as you expect from a demographic. Does this carry more weight or / importance to you then? Like, it doesn't matter as such what the average skill set is of the people that you're competing against, but more that the data set is large enough that you feel it's accurate, whereas you feel like over here it would be skewed.
Over there, if I was just starting, I'm not elite. So how do I know how I'm moving up? Right? The only metric is, are you elite?
Sure.
Right. And so now I got a 450 pound squat, right? And then I need to squat like 900. Like that's a long way, over
you're just
here,
measuring how much you're last by.
Yeah. Over here, it's like, where is that 450? Well, it's like, I don't know, 897. Cool. I want to be in the top 700.
Sure.
Then there's the path. There's an external path to be able to, there's, a stick. And there's the carrot. There's a carrot. There's a carrot to go after. On this side here, if I'm just starting, where's the carrot? I can't even see it. Sure. It's in another fucking city. It's so far away. It's intrinsically motivated or not, you still need some kind of carrot. So that's why.
No, I like it. I like the idea that this data set over here might mean less if we're looking in terms of accomplishment, but for you, it provides more intermediate steps that give you feedback along the way, which, I think maybe gets looked over. Like having those aspirations like you spoke about is cool, but no one is making a giant leap ever. There's thousands of steps, and those bigger data sets just allow you to go, I'm 897, now I'm 896 or 895.
There's so much value, just in that, because it's, if I'm going back to when I'm trying to move up that top 100, I'm also noticing, how long people last, how long they don't. Especially when you start getting closer to the top of all that. It's like, well, this person's been around 6-7 years, they'll probably maybe not be here next year. So there's one spot. I mean, you can start thinking in those regards too. But so now you're playing a longevity game too, because of that. Like if I just stay, a lot of these people are going to wash out, and that's going to immediately push you up. But you don't think about the people that are coming up that are just
they don't exist.
They don't exist because they're not there on that data set.
So it's outlive rather than outlift.
Yeah. Both. Yeah. Both are important.
Yeah. I like that.
Perfect. Should we go on the next one? So, Sventor, between the three of you, whose favorite dinosaur would win in a battle to the death? How would you design a program to secretly destroy a rival if you're doing their programming? Two different questions, but I guess related.
Yes.
Let me tell you which dinosaurs you should pick.
Yeah. Do you have it? So
I didn't pay attention to that.
Do you have a favorite dinosaur?
No, I don't. I can't even tell you anything outside of like a T-Rex and Raptor. That's about all I know.
Well, I'm winning that fight.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm almost like, this is like a really weird game of rock, paper, scissors where I'm like, I'm trying to pick the one that I think might go against yours.
Go on.
Mesosaur.
No, wait, isn't like the alligator kind of still from that time?
I mean, technically, yes.
And I'm picking the alligator because it fucking won, obviously. It's still around.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
In fairness, he's got us there.
Yeah, he's got that one.
It's asteroid proof.
Yeah, if you picked a shark or a crocodile, you win.
Yeah. What was your answer going to be?
Spinosaurus.
Oh, good. Yeah, but we both lost horribly.
Yeah, we lost to the crocodile.
The guy who can't name a dinosaur.
Fair play. You got to give you that.
I like the second part of that question. Let's read that one again.
Let's go with it again. How would you design a program to secretly destroy a rival if you were doing their programming? Say you're ranked 100 and your guy's ranked 99 and you got to destroy him and you're doing his programming.
You max out every day. That's the first part.
So Bulgarian.
You have to max out hard every single day. You have to do it with maximum arousal. Okay. So every smelling salts, all the other kind of stuff, you have to go into a calorie deficit, right? Fasting for at least 16 hours before every training. I want to say like sprinting or some kind of like heavy cardio before every training session, but that's probably not, they're not going to comply. They're not, most of the shit they're not going to do. So if I had to do it in a way that they wouldn't know it was being done, right? It would just be maxing out all the time.
Same variation or changing exercises?
Same variation.
Like straight bar.
We complete burnout. It's fast.
Straight bar, deadlift max every.
There's one person in the audience now who's having a moment. They're like,
Shit, is he doing my program?
Yeah. All singles.
Perfect.
All right. We got one from Joey. Hi, Joey. You're in the middle of nowhere. You need to shit. Do you wipe your ass with a green leaf that you aren't sure is poisonous, a pine cone, or your hand but you can't wash it off?
Give me some context. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of a forest.
How do I have these things?
You're in the middle of a forest.
Well, if I'm in the middle of the forest, right, and there's pine cones,
you have
leaves.
The choice of a pine cone,
yes,
a leaf that might be poisonous, you don't know, or your hand, but you can't wash it off after.
All right, now do I have to make this decision before I shit or after I shit?
Man, that's a great question. I would say, I mean, I assume if you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no one going to be with a gun to your head to make you choose before. So let's say after.
Yeah.
That sounds more realistic.
Like you just ate a bunch of berries and they were wrong and you just shut yourself and you have to.
Well, it depends how it came out. I may not have to wipe at all. You see what I'm saying? And if it's in the middle of a forest, there's other resources. Okay. Right. So, I mean, if I had to choose and there's no other choice, and for some reason these three objects magically appear in the middle,
just barren sand
or whatever it is, then I'm going to go probably with the pine cone. Right. But there's options. Like I could like crush up the pine cone, like make a paste out of it, like spit in my hand and, then use like make a glove
from a pine cone
out of a pine cone. Okay. Right, but like worse, the biggest assumption here is that you even need to wipe in the first place.
Okay.
Right, because if I'm in a forest and I just shit and I don't have to wipe, there may be a lake.
If you're in the forest,
I'm going to find something. I mean, we lived for how many hundreds of thousands of years without toilet paper. Right, so people were just shitting and they weren't using pine cones or leaves. They were just taking a shit, same way a dog would. Right, so I'm going to assume I would just shit and not have to worry about it.
Have you ever done that, though? Here's the question.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
because like that feeling of not having a clean ass and having to hike somewhere, there's nothing worse than that.
Just recently, you just brought back a memory.
What have you opened in Pandora's box?
Perfect. Love this. We're getting to the real stuff.
One of our last trips to South Carolina, we had to pull over and I had to shit, and it was a rest area. And the rest area was a weird rest area, right? Where each toilet was its own room, right? And there's like a series of them. It was weird as hell. It wasn't like, but it's its own room. So I go in there, I got to shit bad. Like, so I go in there, boom, I
like
blow ass, right?
Yeah.
Then I look to the left and there's no toilet paper. Right. So now I'm like looking in the trash can. So I'm looking for the leaf. I'm looking for the pine cone. There is nothing. I left my phone in the car, so I can't call Tate. I literally have to figure out how to swamp ass this back to the car to be able to get back out, right? So I just sat there and like let it air dry as much as I could. Then I figured, if anything, it's just going to wreck my underwear. So just pull it up, went and told her, look, do we have anything? Then when I went back in, to wipe, there's nothing there to wipe. So
magically
false alarm, right? So I'm going to assume, most of the time, if you wipe your ass now, do you look at your toilet paper before you flush?
No. He was looking square at you, but I no.
I do.
Okay.
Like a lot of the time, I probably don't even need it.
So
I mean, some days it's bad, but most of the time you kind of like, I wonder if I even needed this. So I don't think this is a
The
concern.
environmentalist in you was like, that wasn't necessary.
I'm like, I get it why people could just use one sheet. Okay. You know, use this big roll. And it's just like a little smudge. Like, what a waste of paper.
Who asked that question?
Joey.
Joey.
Yeah.
I hope that went where you wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Joey is all I can say.
Just opened up a can.
Quite a bit.
Nah, and leading to what I was saying, if you shit in the woods and there's no one to see you there, did you even shit?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like Schrodinger's bowel movement.
Yeah. You want to carry on with the 10th?
Sure. Where were we? We had Joey, right? Okay.
I think you did shit.
If you could be anyone in the world for 24 hours, who would it be and why?
I don't know who, but I know what attribute I would be looking for. I would be looking for somebody that has at least 5 million in cash, like in the bank, so I can transfer it to my ass. Right. So I'd be that person, then I transfer it to my ass, then I'm out. So anybody that would fill that criteria is who it would be. Now it can't be, so like you might be able to say, oh, it's Elon Musk, but I'm sure he does, but he probably, how liquid, you know what I'm saying? We need this to be liquid so it can be transferred easy, you know, and be able to put over.
So you
Okay,
a drug baron.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. But it needs to be all legal. Like I don't want like a cartel coming after my ass or anything like that. It has to be a legal thing.
But it wouldn't be you anymore 24 hours later.
Who gives a shit?
So
when I come back to me, I got $5 fucking million.
yeah.
So drug baron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. See, that was way easier than I thought. So Brad asked a good one. You are on the island of Dr. Moreau. Do you know the island of Dr. Moreau? The phone. Okay, good. Just making sure. So Dave's head has to be transplanted onto either Tom's upper body with Ilya's lower body, or Ilya's upper body with Tom's lower body. What do you choose, and how would this then affect your training?
My head got smaller, so it's not going to look good on Ilya's upper body. It's going to look like a pea head. Yeah, so it looked better on Tom's.
I like how the cosmetics of this problem.
Yeah. Symmetry matters. Symmetry matters. Like you don't
I think you're winning any symmetry or aesthetic competitions.
you don't want to have a pea head, right? You don't want to have a giant head either. So, but then we have the upper body. So the lower body, like how's this fit in this equation?
Well, you've got to pick either my upper and his lower, or his upper and my lower to match your head.
Well,
We are transplanting. We're making a hybrid human that you're going to be in control of. I mean, to me, the answer is quite obvious here.
Really now?
Yeah. I mean, but maybe that's because I'm overly simplistic here. He loves to squat,
Yeah.
right? So it's got to be my upper and your lower, to me. He ain't squatting like he squats with my...
Well, I mean, it's
giraffe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not his upper for sure because I don't want to fucking breathe that hard all the time. I mean, so that's given.
I'm not breathing
that's
now.
a given.
Right?
That's a given, right? So yeah, yeah. I know what it's like to move around 200, 300, or 300 pounds. I can't imagine what it's like to move that mass around. Granted, you're used to it, which is a cool thing. It's a good thing, but yeah.
Okay, so it'd be my upper and his lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go.
Solid.
Right. So Bradford had
Some big squats there.
Yeah.
Kind of look like
If you don't snap in half whilst you're doing, let's just put that out there.
gonna look like a wellness competitor.
Yeah. A male, ultimate male wellness competitor.
The biggest BBL that you could put on someone.
I can't wait for Brad, or it might not be Brad, someone maybe a bit more technical now to get ChatGPT to do that now on the back end of that. That's going to be hilarious to see. So, Bradford, a little bit more of a serious question. Having worked with all the athletes and lifters that you have, I think you've already answered this, but let's just double down. What do you think separates the truly great ones from everyone else beyond their genetics?
I'm still going to go with intention, but we need to go a little bit deeper. What I'm looking for is kind of like belief in themselves, but that's not defining exactly what I'm thinking about, because they have to have the ability to be okay with having far greater adversity than prosperity, because that's the reality of all that. But they have to be able to deal with that adversity like it is prosperity, and realize that that's good, right? And that the loss or whatever it is, the learning experience is good, and that they have to look into that as being a higher priority and a greater intent than the victory.
Sure. Was it Roger Bannister who said basically the person who is willing to suffer the most will win, or something? Words.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of mentality?
Yeah, but the suffer isn't going to be perceived to them as suffer.
Sure.
Right? It's going to be perceived to them as like, this is just what I do.
Yeah, like an investment.
Yeah,
necessary.
Yes, it's just this is it. This is the means, and this is what it is, and it's like I said, it's deeper than self-belief, right? Because the self-belief, you can just believe, and it's like the little engine that could, I think I can.
You could even be delusional about it.
Yeah, but even with all that, there's still going to be all these things that are going to come out of nowhere. Right? It's just whap, 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 whap. But you got to be able to embrace that and then figure out some of these aren't even hits. They're just imaginary.
Yeah.
And then that's the difference maker. Assuming intent is in there. Once we get past intent, then we have to get here. Right? And then that's the difference maker, because the reality of it is most of it can be perceived as adversity, bad, and failure. Right? Because we don't see that in any of the athletes that we may aspire to be like, or entrepreneurs we aspire to be like. We don't see that. We only see the win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And think of how infrequently that you see the wins just with whoever you're looking at. It's not like they have these wins every single day, right? They're not that frequent. So keep that in mind. First off, the wins that you see, they're not that frequent. But the losses, perceived losses, are all the time, right? So it's understanding that and being able to navigate that.
Sure. So would you say it's kind of being dogged enough or determined enough to almost ignore those barren patches without the success? Like you look at someone like, I don't know, The Rock or whatever, like we could all say, oh, I would do what The Rock has done to be The Rock, but he didn't know it was going to pay off and make him The Rock or whatever, right? He was doing it with no promise, no guarantee of anything, and he had to hit all those failures, and they just, I
think it's more than ignore, because ignore requires attention.
Okay.
Indifferent to most of it would be better. Because if you're indifferent to it, you don't know it really exists.
Sure.
Then the focus is more on the things that you can't control and what is happening, right? Where going back into where lifters are screwing up now is they are paying attention to so many things that they have no business paying attention to if they want to actually try to be the best at what they do, because it's just requiring bandwidth. If they were indifferent to it all, when Ben was out, whatever, 2 weekends ago, he was telling me about some drama bullshit that was going on within whatever discipline of power. I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's completely, I'm indifferent to all that. It has no impact on me. But anybody that knows about all this and that's participating in all this, that's not directly involved, why? If they were indifferent to it, then it's not even part of the whole, you see what I'm saying? So indifference is a huge thing, because that can just wipe out all these perceived failures or perceived losses that aren't even real.
True. Like,
boom, we can wipe off half of those just by keeping that focus on what it needs to be. And then when that focus is on needs to be, interesting how the intent that we were talking about earlier is a little easier to do. because you have more bandwidth to be able to put into the whole thing.
So would you say then, from the external, for the observer then, what we assume a lot of the time in these individuals is what we'd call willpower? You're saying that perhaps it's not willpower because to them those aren't actually obstacles, perhaps even in the first place, because they're not garnishing any of their attention. As in, like, their perception has changed in a way where I don't have to, this doesn't take willpower to ignore because it doesn't get any attention in the first place. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, but I don't think people, there's like a hierarchy, right? To where you have the intention I was talking about, which will then, you know, I can watch an inspiring hockey movie or whatever it's going to be and be like, man, this is great. It's not going to make me want to go play hockey. Right. So the inspiration, I can be inspired, but that inspiration needs to lead to motivation. Right. Then that motivation needs to lead to discipline, action. Right. We don't even get to willpower until you get there. Right. So this is all happening before the willpower is really a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're intentionally trying to figure out where you're going to put your attention and where you're not going to put your attention. What you're going to allow be inspiring and aspirational. Like one thing, to one person, one thing can be aspirational. To that very same person, that one thing, as I said earlier, can be something that makes them feel inadequate. But I wonder, you know, why do you feel inadequate? Well, you feel inadequate because you think that you should be better, right? So we're kind of talking the same thing. Yeah. You know, it's just perceived a little bit different. It might have to be reframed to make it so it's not feeling adequate, but being used to be able to create that motivation for that next step, to be able to go through. And maybe willpower is encompassing of all of this, but I've always kind of perceived it as being once you get through that chain, because so many of those other things, we're already indifferent to so many things. You know, you're just flipping through things on Instagram. Most of the shit you're not paying attention to. Somebody is, but you're not. You know,
I built my algorithm with a lot of care.
Yeah, I know, but you're not looking at every single post,
like
right?
A bonsai tree, like finely trimmed, it's perfect.
Yeah. I like.
I think Meathead Psychology 101 needs to be. Bradford did put quite a few questions here, so Bradford, I'm sorry, but I'm going to pick probably one out of the remainder here. And I think this is a good one. This might come straight from your Myrtle Beach gym, the answer to this one, which is, what's the most ridiculous piece of training advice you've ever heard someone say with a straight face? So assuming they meant it literally.
Most ridiculous. So many things flashing through my brain that I can pretty much say almost everything I've ever heard could be defined as that.
I was saying that the silence is a bad thing because it means there's a whole database to pull from right now.
Well, there is. I'm just seeing if I can like silo this down into. Okay. The most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard is that the only way that you can build a squat, bench, or deadlift is, that you cannot build a squat, bench, and deadlift by only doing the squat, bench, and deadlift. Right? So the ones that are saying that you have to do all these other things to be able to build those lifts is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. Right? Because when I hear an answer like that, I get it. Like, I know what they're talking about, but they don't understand they're talking about the top fucking 5%. And that everybody that falls under that top 5% don't have the skills to even do the squat, bench, and deadlift correctly. And what they need to do is the squat, bench, and deadlift to be able to learn the skills. So when it comes out of people's mouth like that, it's coming from their bias and the fact that they've already developed those skills. And they're not seeing that most people that are going to be listening to us most likely have not developed those skills and have to develop those skills. So when I hear that shit, it's like, oh, it's like I want to stick a freaking knife in my head. It's like, put some context behind what the hell you're saying,
We're
right?
getting there. Like
because
maybe here.
it does, because context matters, right? Because a lot of the times with a lot of this funky shit, they're going to throw me in it. Like Dave says, like, what the hell? No, that's not what I said. You know, and there's context. That's why I'm long-winded on so much of my shit, because I'm trying to put context behind all that. But that by far is the most ridiculous shit that I've ever heard. You know, it's like, you know, the only way you can learn how to walk, you know, is to not walk. Yeah, that's going to work really fucking good. The only way you can learn how to throw a ball is don't throw the ball.
Yeah, my follow was going to be, in what other context does that advice ever apply?
Zero.
There's none, right?
No. So it only applies in one context.
There's something
primal
about
two primal movements that a human does.
Don't do them, whatever you do. Okay.
Also, there's no camera from this side, but we did get a side vein on the head. It was great. That answers part of a question that I had added to the list. What's a current fitness trend or something that you absolutely hate, despise, and disagree with?
I don't pay attention enough to know. I really don't.
Okay.
One for when you did pay attention.
Most of those would fall into when I was working as a trainer at Gen Pop, then I had to pay attention, you know, so I'd have to look through the Shape magazines and news or whatever to see, because it was going to come to me, right? Because they're going to say, hey, did you see on the news, or did you see this, or did you see in the paper? And most of those things are the same shit that we see today, you know, just trending diet fads or some weight loss miracle pill, which we kind of have now, but that's a little different conversation. So it's, yeah, I don't pay that much attention.
All right.
Interesting. I wanted to ask one, if you don't mind. I think it's, hopefully Ilya will like this question too, because we're both very lucky that we get to be co-hosts with you on the podcast. And I'm sure I speak for both of us when I say thank you for that, because it's a great opportunity. So my question was, if you could have anyone on the podcast, who would you choose? If you just for like a one-off, anyone, and what would your most pertinent question be for that person? And would Ilya or I be able to sit on it?
Yes.
Are we fighting for this one?
I think we both fit on that chair. I could sit on your lap.
Okay. That would be a good one.
Can they be dead?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I didn't specify.
Dr. Mel Sif.
Good. Very good answer. I like that. And what would, you know, if you had one pivotal question, which, you know, could turn into a 1 hour lecture if it was the right question, right? What would the question be for Sif?
I would like to revisit a conversation that I had with him when I was still competing in regards to restoration methods and recovery. Because when I had that conversation, I was just looking for things I could do, and not really paying attention to why. Like, what are the actual adaptations that are occurring because of this? What are the stressors that are occurring because of this? Why is it that I need more recovery after this, after the recovery? Keep in mind, you need recovery from the recovery. What adaptations are taking place from that modality? Like, I would want to know at that level, like, out of all these different modalities, what are the specific adaptations and how are they different? Right. And then that would be a fascinating discussion, you know, because I like to look at the adaptations. And with Cameron Josh, who I had out, who's the assistant strength coach with the Lions, we spoke a lot about this, because he's dealing with the speed aspects and all this other stuff. And, you know, if you have a very fascially dominant skill athlete, they may not need heavyweight training. So the conversation was more along the lines of, what are the adaptations that the heavyweight training can provide that we can't provide with plyometrics or other stimulus? And there was not one, right? So then that is fascinating to me, right? Because coming from a world where we kind of know the adaptations and we know what it needs to be, this gets into this whole different category, right? And so does the restoration modalities. It gets to a different category. But I was only looking at it as, I want to pick this fruit. I want to pick this one. I want to pick this one. I just want to apply it, do it, and not really get it. And I think there was so much gold in that conversation I didn't pay attention to. Because all I was looking for was
the quick answer.
The quick answer for what I would do.
I'm sure you're not alone in probably having a lot of very good questions for him in that regard, you know. One that I would put to both of you just to finish off then as like a quick one, which might be, I hope will be interesting, would be, what's the most impressive physical feat you've seen in person? And, you know, not outside of like maybe a traditional like bilateral regular squat or whatever, like that you've seen in person that has impressed you the most. I've got my answer, but I'm 50% uncertain whether I want to say it because he's sat next to me. Right? So I'm going to start this off then whilst you think. I think it might have been not long after you came back for the first time after we'd moved here and you were doing farmer's walks or yoke carries or something, and you were talking to us, looking at us, whilst you reached over and grabbed 2 100-pound plates back to back and just picked them up, held them away from your chest, and then proceeded to walk away. Now, this is only made more impressive by the fact that I now coach you and know your grip strength is terrible.
So I've told that story like 5 times. Right. So that's
like
terrible when I'm paying attention.
A, how do you do that so nonchalantly? And B, how do you do that when your grip strength is...
It was just normal.
Yeah.
I mean, when you did it, it was just normal. It's just like, this is just what I do. Like how I pick up a 10-pound dumbbell. It's like, it's not on my, that could be on my list. Yeah.
The question to you guys is, why aren't you guys carrying around 100-pound plates?
Because I can roll
it. Give me a 200-pound plate, I'll start rolling it.
I just think maybe the bars in your comps, we need to make them just flat-sided. Because your grip is obviously stronger against like purely flat surfaces. But yeah, that for me, it was not just the feet, but the nonchalant relaxedness of it. Okay. Which made it kind of, you know, when you look at something, and I'm not saying this to like stroke your ego, but there are certain things that you see sometimes and like the reality doesn't quite match what you're seeing. Right? When you see like Bruce Lee do like a 1-inch punch or whatever, someone flies back a foot, your brain can't really compute. And for me, that was that moment in person. I was like, oh, they must be bumpers. Oh, no. That's mine.
I'll have 2 because they're a little bit different. The one would be when Steve Goggins squatted 1102 because it took like an hour to stand up, and it was just, standing. It was a big room standing. I mean, there all the dynamics kind of played into all that as well. The other, I can't remember the athlete's name, but he came down to work with Meadows, and he was just out here in the gym, and it was let's say a defensive back. It's probably screwing a skill NFL player, and he was bounding. And just up and down the turf. And I've seen the same thing over and over time with different athletes. So it kind of all puts up there in the same thing. When you see a highly skilled athlete just bounding to where it looked like his foot never hit the ground. Mm-hmm. The ground contact was so fast, you know, and so high and so effortless that it's like, what the hell am I watching right here? Like a human can do this. Mm-hmm. You know, this is crazy as hell. And so they're different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, but
it's like a 250-pound ballerina or something like that.
It's just like,
it's just, again, it just defies what you're almost expecting.
Yeah.
Something for me to work
on. It's like when genetics and intent and all those things all come together, it's like, wow, man. Wow. You know, it's just crazy. You know, then you think, you know, somebody out there's thinking you need to do heavy fucking max effort singles to be able to become a better athlete. You're like, yeah, that's it. That's what they're missing.
Yeah. If only they sumo deadlifted.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah, imagine how much better. Like, okay.
What about you?
What about me?
You've seen some cool stuff at some point, I'm sure.
I have seen so many cool and incredible things, and I've gotten very lucky with that because I've met or know of or I'm friends with some really incredible strength feat performers, things that are not just a number on a bar, but things that are, as you said, incomprehensible to even start imagining how you would do. And there's no specific one, but just the idea, and that's something I aspire to and try to work through in my training and with you coaching me through it, is having someone 300, 400 pounds, but moving effortlessly. And seeing like Dimitar Savatinov doing front rolls and hops and like all sorts of stuff at his 330 body weight, and he's built like a ball, but he bounces around like one too. You know, that is impressive, and that's something I trying to do. But then seeing some strength feat performers like juggling heavy maces while hanging upside down off a yoke and doing some axe throw, you know, stuff like that, which you're like, okay, what part of this do I begin training? And then how do I add the second part? And there's a third part? You know? And he hits the target.
Who is the Russian performer you showed me the other week who juggles? I think everyone should look him up to kind of get an idea for what you're talking about.
Quickly give his name.
Because he like juggles kettlebells and
he shows me things every week. It's like, what the hell? Like these people.
And I just think that's a cool example of like the type of stuff you're talking about.
I want to know I want to know who the person is that's running their avatars. Since we're in the simulation.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because you know it's
how much did he pay for that?
Yeah.
Cheat code.
Valentin
Dikul.
There you go.
Russian circus performer, where he's using cannonballs, actually weighted balls that he's throwing around, catching on his neck and throwing them around effortlessly, and he hands them off to the crowd, and they're actually heavy. They cannot even pick them up. They drop them. And handling something that's so heavy, I assume it's 50, 80 pounds, but he's juggling in one hand, and when he hands it off, the people just drop it because they can't even hold on to it with both hands while being ready for the weight. That is impressive.